don't see Advocate Mpofu. He said he was here. And good morning to all colleagues who are here. I've been requested by the EFF to come and give a brief account of what we've been up to, and you guys will then take it from there. I think that we all know this effectively started when we celebrated 10th anniversary of the EFF, which was successful at the FNB Stadium. And subsequent to that, we launched our manifesto at Moses Mabhida. And when we launched our manifesto, or announced that we were launching our manifesto at Moses Mabhida, everybody developed an interest on Mabhida, and everybody started going to Moses Mabhida because they had not realized that there's too much voter constituency in the KZN which can be tapped into, and that whatever amount of numbers you take from KZN will really be a serious boost to the organization that has made an effort. And as a deliberate move, we went to KZN and decided we don't want anyone from outside KZN. We want everyone who is from KZN, strictly from KZN. Because we said we need to go and break the new ground. But the EFF's inspiration was necessarily inspired by 2021, where EFF got more than 330,000 unexpected votes. And we took that as a loud whispering by the KZN people who were saying we are ready for the EFF. Therefore, we went to KZN. And then from there, we went all over South Africa to launch our manifesto. Firstly, Mabhida was successful, and there's no single other manifesto which we launched after Mabhida, which was not successful. Rallies by their own nature, you convene, or in the rallies, the people who are converted are the ones who converge. So you bring the ones who are converged into one place, and those undecided. So when people run a campaign, they run a campaign on undecided voters. You don't run a campaign on strongly EFF or strongly opposed to EFF. Strongly opposed to EFF, you don't waste time. So when you do a rally, you are targeting that undecided voter who looks at the beauty and the success of the rally and the speeches thereof, and then makes a decision. Some just look at TV even before they hear the speech because they are so undecided. You just hear a person say, my organization, because they can see that this is a serious organization. So they are not a waste of time. Their target is an undecided voter. And most of our people get influenced by that. And then we now are engaged in town halls, especially in the minority areas, because there is a say. I didn't know, Buddhali, that there was a say that I'm anti-Christ. I only heard that when I arrived at El Dorado Park. And I asked the EFF people as to what is your response when they say, I'm anti-Christ. And they were all giving all sorts of answers. But there's a simple answer to give to ordinary masses of our people who are being deliberately misled. You just say, Malema built the house of the Lord in honor of his mother in Seshio and went to open it with Jacob Zuma. How does he become an antichrist? So, and you can see these guys are like, okay, give me the speech where I said I'm antichrist. They're trying to find it. But it's a big question which needs a simple answer. So We go into the town halls in the minority areas, in the virgin areas where we never had a strong presence, to come and speak to people about our manifesto and allow them briefly to raise their concerns, because we are no longer in the process of drafting manifesto. We have heard what people want and we are dealing with that. But as an ongoing engagement with our people, we give them that opportunity to ask us questions. We have established what we call branch election task forces all over South Africa. A branch election task force is an election structure of a ward-based. And we also establish VDETFs, which are called Voting District Election Task Force. Voting district, we normally call it voting station. So each voting station in South Africa gives us 8 people. And then those are the people who campaign for the EFF. Not 8, 30. 30 people. I know Limpopo is 30. But a minimum of 20, 30 people. From that, we take 8 as party agents, females and males. And amongst the party agents, we want some people with some pre-matric qualification, former civil servants, former professionals, former student activists. Why? The presiding officers of IEC bully illiterate, innocent people in the villages. So you find a presiding officer is a principal of that village. He's the only one who's got a buggy. When people are sick, he's the one who takes them to the hospital. And then you go there, you are an EFF party agent. He says all party agents must sit at the door during counting. When you try to speak, he looks at her, wena, kauneta wena. And then you're like, hey, let me withdraw, because this guy knows our family problems. So we need someone who can be up to that principal, or no, wait. I was a principal myself before. I'm a retired principal. I was a presiding officer. You can't say I must stand there. I have to stand here. Once those credentials are revealed, then they retreat, because they know they are not dealing with people who are not necessarily clued up with the Electoral Act and Code of Conduct. Then from there, we are going to have our rally on the 25th of May in Limpopo, Peter Mokaba Stadium. We've got weekly reporting meetings where every structure from VD, branch, sub-region, region, province has to report about how many people did you speak to. We don't care whether they said they will vote for EFF or not. But at least you should have spoken to not less than 10 million people who say, we've heard of an animal called the EFF directly. Because they will never vote for a party they never heard of. So you ought to go and speak to them. And the good thing with the campaign of door-to-door is that you are not searching in darkness. You are carrying a voter's role. So when you enter my family, you don't say, how many voters are in this house? You say, where's Julius Malema? Where's Ronnie Malema? Where's Tsepo Malema? You call them from the voter's role. Then you talk to them. Then you ask them, after talking to them, will you vote for the EFF? I'm not sure. Some say yes, some say no. Then you write them down, you write their contacts and all of that, you bring them to us. And then we capture them and then send them to head office as a province. The head office has got an existing operation center where ordinary members of the EFF call those people that you said you spoke to ask them, has anyone come to speak to you about the EFF? So that is portfolio of evidence, so that we don't just assume people are being spoken to only to find that people are passing time, are actually not doing the work. So the call center will call. We have established a call center. That call center, by the election time, each sub-region will be having its own agent that deals directly with that sub-region. Yesterday alone, we called 140,000 people because I just inquired about yesterday. So directly, and Those are the calls that went through. Remember, some don't go through, and then we keep on repeating them. So we go around doing door-to-door. Our campaign is mutu-mutu. So you have to speak to people directly. Every other thing, if you say we did a march, we did a bash, we did a mini rally community meeting, it doesn't account for anything. Those are cherries on top. The only thing we are interested in is how many people have you spoken to and where is the portfolio of evidence. And then the National Operations Center calls those people, including the party agents. So these 8 party agents must submit them, we're going to call them, confirm them, engage them in a training. Then the same thing with election task forces. If you say this is a regional task force, it must have names, surnames, ID numbers, and telephone numbers. Sub-region the same, the branch the same, VD the same. The people who are going to be party agents must be coming from that VD. We don't borrow students to go and become party agents at Houghton. There must be volunteers. Don't tell us, no, it's a suburb. There is no suburb without black people. Anyway, we know that white people can't service themselves. They need us to service them. So there is us somewhere there in the suburb to service white people. So you can't say this is pure white people. It's not true. It's a lie. It means you're not doing your work. Because in that suburb, there is a bus rank. That confirms there are people here. In that suburb, every corner in the evening, you'll find domestics in a group in that corner sharing the notes of the bosses. So, yesterday it was difficult. So they are there, and you can find them if you want, even if you are looking for them. We are the best in the distribution of posters in South Africa. No one comes close to us. Why? We use our own structures. So we've got a team in each town, in every ward, called postering team. It must have names, say names. The buggy they are going to use, we need its inner teeth to check if there is such a vehicle. And you must submit a picture of portfolio of evidence of the buggy, the step ladder, and the people going on top of poles, putting up posters. Someone sent me a message yesterday at 4 a.m. that Metro Police is removing our posters and M1 and M2 and all of that. We send that to MMC or Public Safety. If it's not allowed, it's okay, but it can only be EFF. So everybody else must not put. We are ready to comply with everything. So we have a television advert that will launch soon, I think beginning of May. We're just waiting for ICASA to make allocations. We have a radio advert. We've got adverts in the newspapers, including News 24. But News 24 makes some terrible rule. It says, for you to have an advert in our newspaper or online, you must come as 3 different parties. 3 competing parties to come and say, we 3 of us want to. You can hear that level of madness. No? That I must go and talk to Steinhezen and then talk to Bosa, Musima Emmanuel. Let's go and make an advert at News 24. So they are making that rule for simple reason. They know what's going to happen. They know the Oppenheimers will place an advert of Rise Mzansi, Sarah, and Bosa. And say, no, but they came 3 of them. They made the requirement. But when you check all of them, they're the same thing. How do you get the adverts of Moon Pact into the News 24 platforms and you don't have others? They know there is no one who can come with the EFF. Therefore, EFF is barred from advertising on the News 24 platform. They use some funny strategy to exclude you because they know even if you go to PAC, even if you go to Azapo, they will not afford to advertise on those platforms. So the EFF is excluded from advertising on the News 24 platform. Because when that rule was presented, I just knew what it means. I know how racists operate, and I know how racists exclude people. So when that came, I knew this is a strategy not to have the EFF on the News 24 platform. But otherwise, all of newspapers, except ENCA, by the way, will be able to advertise on those platforms. And we have no problems with ENCA. All they need to do is to apologize. And you all know that, and you all know they've done us wrong. And now in December is going to be a 5th year. So they still stand another good chance because the NPA is coming. They can apologize directly to NPA in December. We don't see why the IEC is appealing Zuma judgment. It's really very, very personal. And by doing that, they are keeping President Zuma in the news. By doing that, they are making President Zuma gather rallies outside every court appearance. So the court appearances are being organized by the IEC. We might be thinking the IEC is acting against Zuma, only to find that Mashinini is behind the strategy of the IEC to keep Zuma in the news. So you must not sleep. I mean, for the first time we saw Advocate Ngugai Tobi struggling. And then he came at the JSC there. I went to him and I was like, I was here busy interviewing judges, but the social media observers are not giving it to you this time. He said to me openly, that one we've lost. Because he knows there is no case. So if they know there's no case, what is going to happen? Why are they doing what they are doing? And some silly mistakes that are being committed by the IEC. Remember, we have got 110% confidence on the IEC. But they are making so many stupid mistakes in a year where the election is highly contested, where they're supposed to be perfect. We are going now for 30 years of democracy. They've got the necessary experience. I mean, go and look at that signing of the code of conduct by the IEC. Anele was right to demand a picture. Why are you asking for my picture? You don't publish it. And you publish logos. My picture is my logo. It's me as an independent candidate. They didn't have that. They went to do raffle there, took out a name of an independent instead of a political party. Why do you put independents and political parties in one basket? Why? And the woman who was presiding over that code of conduct signature thing, she did not have a brief of what was happening. She didn't know what was happening. That thing was supposed to be seamless to inspire confidence. She's chairing that thing. Half the time she's being corrected by that guy. There's a guy there who came and said, you can't call an individual. Here it's a slot for political parties. That time they had called Zagi Ahmad. And you saw how happy she was. When the name of a political party came, the whole smile disappeared. And you may find it was only Zagi Ahmad's name in that thing of independence. Because also I was questioning, why do you guys agree that there must be balls in some shuffling thing, but you have never seen the names that are in that ball? What if the EFF name is not there? Each party must be given its name. A ball must be put there. We must all line up dropping the ball inside that shuffling thing to be sure there is a name of the EFF. Even after the event, they don't open those things to show you, no. They are political parties in these things. All of them are here. You don't see that. In a highly contested elections. Then, They shuffle. That guy of DA in Western Cape, Madikizela, becomes number one. His party becomes number one on the ballot paper. To show she's not sure what is she doing. She then calls political parties as they appear on the ballot paper to come and sign. But parties as they appear on the ballot paper, Madikizela's party is supposed to be number one. So what is the benefit of being number one? Because you just won the number one spot now. We had to wait even for a moment for the ballot paper to be changed and then be placed again on the board. Madikizela, what is Madikizela's party, man? African something. It's number one. But no, we are going to call parties according to how they appear on the ballot. They jump Madikizela. They do the old. Because once you are number one, you start benefiting from those things immediately. And to be called to give a speech as number one, about 2 minutes each, you are likely to give 3-4 minutes because people are not yet tired. And after you, they're like, we're going to stick to time now. But you are done. Those are the benefits of being number one. But that was ignored because she insisted on chairing that thing. She was not supposed to chair that particular thing. All of this, without a letter, I called the CEO of IEC. I said, you can't do what you are doing because this election is going to be the most difficult election. Once you go and mess up on the day, instead of us rallying behind you, everybody is going to be listing, but they did this, they've been coming. So you can't afford to make that horrible mistakes. And that includes leaking the list of other parties. I'm just happy they did not go anywhere close to the EFF list in terms of leaking because we were going to tell you the name and the address of a person who leaked our list. Because we're not going to allow that nonsense of a person undermining democracy. But nonetheless, I think all are the issues that we as the EFF are doing. I spoke about the ENCA that is more than welcomed to the EFF. The News 24 has made it its business to decampaign the EFF. And we're being nice and we're being polite. And when we respond, we're going to be called anti-media freedom, anti-this, anti-that. There is no organization that has this kind of interactions with the media and highly accessible to the media in South Africa other than the EFF. Organizations, I speak of parties that are well represented in parliament, not these things that are run from the boots of cars. So, of all parties, we are the most transparent. We are here. That's why we are here. We have been here before. We always have press conferences. We couldn't have this time around as often as we want to have because of the program on the ground. But you've got a media house that has taken a decision to just be anti-EFF. Mazoti gives EFF 200,000 in 2014 as a contribution. That is a sin he has ever committed because if he had not paid that money, this animal won't be here. That is his punishment. Leave cigarette, what. Then they say Mazoti is the biggest funder of the EFF, biggest funder. Ombudsman says, big relative to which one? Because you must compare them. Do you have others? Two. Which other donations has Mazoti ever made since 2024? No, that one of 2014, that one of 20, no, only that one of 2014. So why do you call him the current funder of the EFF? And you say EFF is even better because he made donation. And then Malema yena. Why do you say he's the biggest funder of Malema? What do you have? That Mazoti is a funder of Malema. The whole newspaper, Adrian, having taken a personal racist decision and chose to become typical of a racist white boy who suffers from white privilege, attacks the EFF unprovoked and does that consistently, now came with the rules that exclude the EFF, because the rest of other parties, they can come together carrying each other. They are funded by one person. EFF has to go and look for other partners for it to advertise on News 24. Talk about suppressing other political parties. The right to express ourselves is being violated. So we are going to take News 24 to the Electoral Court, because we cannot allow a media platform to run a political campaign against other political parties. They need to declare that it is free and fair for certain parties who want to advertise on that platform to be excluded on the basis that their competitors are refusing to come with them, to come and advertise. When the DA opens its mouth all the time, says, no EFF, will never work with the EFF. Imagine where you're going to get the DA to come and advertise with you when he told you that you are actually nothing. Tina Jumat was killed after the reports were given that Tina Jumat, there's threats on her life, and she was being questioned by the Hawks and all of that. None of you has ever have an interest on what happened to that person. She's gone now. There's no clear, no one can give me a clear explanation. But what comforts me is that when the public protector reported this to Parliament, the Speaker, Mapisa Ngakula, defended this mess. And when it was her turn, they didn't defend her. That's good. That's how they eat each other. But there was recordings where Tina Jumart was saying bribes are needed from Pemima Jodina, from Janji, from Ugadewetre. Eh? Yes. Oh, Mapisa. Ngakula was also going to get the portion of her pensions. Nothing. With recordings, she can't say, okay, let's institute some smaller inquiry because there is some prima facie evidence. Nothing. Nothing. And that woman is sleeping now. No justice has been achieved for her. You have a speaker who is in trouble with the law. That is another arm of the state. You have a chief justice who's in trouble with the law because Zuma has taken him to court that his appointment was not correct. But be that as it may, Chief Justice Zondo made a statement that the ANC made a good decision in 2017 when it elected Cyril Ramaphosa as a president. That was a good decision which saved the country. No one is holding him. And even this professional, including black professional legal bodies, Bhutan, no one has reported him to JCC. Because Mogoeng was charged for commenting about politics in relation to Israel. This one is commenting about politics in South Africa, worse, internal party political issues. There's no discipline against him. That's another, they are doing each other favors. Then you have a president of the country in trouble with the law because Pala will not go away. He can do whatever he wants to do. Let me tell you, there was a case opened by that former DG of intelligence, Fraser. There's a case number. They now have to go and say we decline to prosecute so that we can prosecute him privately. There was a case number. All manner of evidence was presented by Fraser. Till today, that is not an issue. What is an issue? VBS. Malema must speak about VBS. Give me a case number against me on VBS. That is an issue. This is an issue we'll never let go. Where is the case number? Even in the absence of the case number, because of political hatred and political agenda, we must still go after them. Shivambo must account for VBS. Because of VBS, Shivambo's brain, economic brain, has shrunk. He can no longer be a good economic analyst. He can't make a good minister of finance. He went VBS. There are people who are in the dock now. There is a white man, former CEO of VBS, who was arrested and who confessed, now serving time in jail. People are being prosecuted on daily basis, especially in Limpopo. There's former CFO, CEOs and all of that. Not a single law enforcement officer has ever even sent an SMS to ask us about VBS, including those fraud hawks. You know, there are hawks when they hear, hey, there is a case coming against you, then they start saying, no, I'm so and so from the hawks. There is this thing, we can close it, send this much. Not even a fake call was ever made to us about VBS. But VBS. Because you cannot find anything politically, ideologically, to falter the EFF. That's why Moeletsi Mbeki speaks about the leadership of the EFF, likes nice things. That's why they want houses with swimming pools and all of that. And then you don't ask him if Fidel Castro was a revolutionary. If he says yes, you say, didn't Fidel Castro have a swimming pool? Didn't Fidel Castro have a Rolex watch? The president, former president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, a good dresser of note, a man of style. But if you compare Chavez with Malema, to Malema's haters, Chavez is a revolutionary, but there's nothing that I'm doing different from what Chavez did. Who said Chavez didn't have a pool? And Lenin. What is revolutionary about smoking cigar? Because Fidel Castro used to smoke cigar. But if you were to smoke cigar now, you are going to be taken a picture and be questioned, what is revolutionary about cigar? But Fidel has never been questioned. What is revolutionary about smoking cigar when you are a revolutionary? So, those are the inconsistencies, those things of calling us flip-floppers. Musi Maimane said, we don't need political parties who must contest as independents. Musi Maimane today is contesting as a political party. You have never called him a flip-flop. This one who can't speak properly, Action SA, Mashab. And people said, I'm attacking people who was stuttering. Mashaba is not stuttering. No, it's not. Mashaba doesn't have a proper thought process. So he can't think and speak at the same time. That is a serious weakness in a person. He can't think. And there in Parliament, I was making a simple point. Or when you come with one seat or two or three, it's 3 minutes. What is Mashaba going to say there with that kind of articulation? You are wasting your time. He will leave that parliament without having said a word. Imagine that the speaker is the EFF in the coalitions. Mashaba, Honorable Mashaba. Then it starts being worse. By the time he utters first sentence, the time is over. Sit down. Pelamola unyagabundlus. That's what you need. Once you stand up, on a point of order, speaker, what's that? It's not point of order, points are made. It's done. Because we are fighting for time. So, Mashaba says the EFF, when he leaves the DA, the EFF is the only party that has never come to me and asked me for tenders. I've got a high respect for the EFF. Today he calls EFF all sorts of names. None of you call him a flip-flop. None of you call President Mandela a flip-flopper. After he said he's going to nationalize, immediately after President Dali was standing next to him there. And then later Mandela said privatization is not a policy of the ANC. Well, I mean nationalization, we're going through privatization. It's not a flip-flop. President Mbeki, who said, how do I do door-to-door and explain to people to vote for a party which has got Nkabis in their branches? Today he says, I'm available, I'm going to campaign for my party. It's wrong for you not to campaign for the party. It's not being called a flip-flop. Why do you call the EFF flip-flopper? It's because you can't falter it politically and ideologically, and its commitments to fighting for the poor of the poorest. So we are here to say to you, we are available, and we are a government in waiting, and there's nothing that really can come between us and the union building. The ANC is at its weakest state now. If we miss this opportunity, we're gone, we're out. This is an opportune moment for South Africans to make a serious historical turn, because 1994 we thought we were there, only to realize now that we are now in a more crisis than we were in 1994. So the coalitions, as my last point, we are open to talk to everyone. And our demands are very simple, which have always been. They don't change. Yeah, they can change here and there. And we are not far with many parties on what needs to happen. I mean, ATM, Mazapo, PAC, MK, including the ANC, by the way, on the land question. We are not far apart. We had actually had an agreement. Was it in this hotel? In this hotel, with the ANC, that we are going to expropriate land without compensation. And they developed a cold feet. That we are going to nationalize the Reserve Bank, that we are going to establish the state-owned bank. These two we followed up when we got into Parliament. We made proposals on the nationalization of the Reserve Bank, made a proposal on the establishment of state-owned bank, and the nationalization of mines. And one of the simplest demands we made was remove the stem from the national anthem. We can find another Afrikaans version if you want Afrikaans. But the stem is not an Afrikaans version. The stem, it's a political song which cemented white Afrikaner superiority. And they were singing this song when they were torturing our people. In Flag Plus, when they were having you encaged, they bribe meat there, they drink because they are drunkards. When they get drunk with the smell of their meat, they start singing this song. Today you are a survivor of Flag Plus. You must come and sing the song that is reminding you of the torture. Can you imagine if someone was to stand here and say, let's ask all the Jewish people to sing Hitler's songs? What's going to happen to you? You won't see the light of the day. But we are being made to sing the songs of our oppressors. We are made to pay Budali, an apartheid debt, which its weapons were going to kill us. You must pay for the weapons which were meant for your killing. We're being asked that. We can't. We need the EFF to go to the International Court of Justice, ICJ, for real issues, not this pretentious ANC thing of wanting to pretend like they've got a problem with what is happening in Israel. We need to go to ICJ and say, declare this 382 billion apartheid debt as a debt which should not be paid because it was borrowed by a system which you declared a crime against humanity. Someone goes to buy a gun, borrows a gun to come and kill me. Then, ultimately, the killing flops. They say, no, but this guy's got a debt which he took from us to buy a gun to come and kill you, pay. Why has the ANC not said, but we can't allow this? We can't allow this. With the problems that we have in this country, where many of our people go to bed without food, we are servicing the debt which was meant to kill us. With a budget of 320 billion rands budget deficits. Can you imagine what we can do if that issue is scrapped? They say, no, you no longer pay this. How much we can reduce the international debt and service it at a reasonable rate, because the apartheid debt is taken out of that international debt. All of that has not been touched. It needs the EFF, because no one will ever do that. They are all compromised. No one will ever do that. We're losing a lot of money to illicit financial flows. We lose a lot of money to tax avoidance. They say tax avoidance is not illegal. It's allowed. And so we will pass legislation that will make it illegal, because the revenue of this country depends mainly on the taxes, because we've got a state which is not in business. All the state-owned enterprises are gone. So we're relying on the revenue. We cannot afford to lose a single cent from the taxes. So everything is not working, Buddali, except SARS. SARS is working. And someone was trying to mobilize me when they extended the contract of the commissioner. That, do you see, this is illegal, whatever. But you see, I've got sympathy with this guy. Because I once spoke something political about him, that he's doing this. He wrote me a long letter and said to me, if someone dares to ask me what you said I did, I'll resign with immediate effect. Then I went to check him. I realized that SARS is no longer operating the way it was operating in the past, where it was weaponized against political opponents. They are working. The problem is that we don't have enough people who can afford to pay tax. When you go to SARS, if you want to see that SARS is working, miss your VAT payment today. Tomorrow, 1 past 12, midnight, a letter of interest comes in. No government institution does that. That says to you, hey, Mpofu, your passport is about to expire. They've got your records there. Come and renew. Your driver's license is about to expire. Come and renew. If they can have that system to make us, you missed VAT, this is interest. If they can pick up that, why are they not picking up these other service delivery related matters? So it can be done. It is possible. Why should we be sending electricity and water bills through some papers when we say the world has evolved? Every company today, you owe it, including SARS. Send you an SMS, or my guy, check your emails. The problems are too many. Then you open, you realize, yeah, man. Accept your government. Accept the government that can't use the latest technology to enhance and speed service delivery. Only the EFF with a young intelligentsia, the EFF that is not immune to criticism, but EFF that loves men and women who are suitable for the job. Not cadre deployment, which is directionless, but cadre deployment, we will implement it and will do it unashamedly. But the man and the woman must be suitable for the job, not because they can sing slogans of EFF. That is not a requirement. Or even the membership of the EFF will never be a requirement. We can still have Naledi Pandor under the EFF government as a minister of international relations, because she's good at what she's doing. She doesn't have to be an EFF member. It's her loyalty to the flag. It's her loyalty to the constitution. Is she a South African citizen? Her political affiliation is irrelevant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. Colleagues, now we opening the floor to you so that you can engage the President. Tato, can you please come to the front to help me? We've got mics here in the front, and you can give colleagues. Dr. Sizwe would be the first one to, let's just take three, because one would be Tando from Business Day. So it's Dr. Sizwe, Jamie, because can we? Oh, we'll go to Jamie then, because there's no one else. So it's Dr. Sizwe, it's Tando, and then it's Jamie.
One, two. Thanks very much. Just a disclaimer, I didn't know that Advocate Mbofu was going to be here, and he didn't know I was going to be here either. Mr. Malema, thank you. President Cyril Ramaphosa emerged victorious at the most recent ANC elective conference just weeks after reports emerged that he was considering resignation. What's your assessment of the current balance of forces within the ANC? Do you think his position has strengthened or weakened since that conference? And do you think he will be president of South Africa after the election?
Tando?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Tando Mayeko from the Business Day. Just on various things that the CIC said and also on the manifesto. First of all, the EFF proposes a wide range of overhauls, particularly with regards to South Africa's tax system. One is to introduce a wealth tax. I want to know what percentage are you looking at? Second of all, the EFF also proposes increasing corporate tax from 28% to 32% with a 25% dividend tax. Don't you think that this kind of defeats the purpose? Because most tax-heavy companies, such as mining and Sasol and let's say ArcelorMittal, will probably move their business elsewhere. And then just on coalitions as well, you mentioned how you are not closed to the ANC, but you also mentioned how in this very hotel, you discussed things such as land and nationalization of Saab, and also, what did you say? State-owned bank. You guys agreed on that, but then they went to Parliament and did a U-turn. Are you not perhaps concerned that should you go with a coalition with the ANC, then the ANC would do a U-turn on any other agreements? And then this year is EFF elective conference year. I understand probably in December. You have mentioned that you are open to a third term. Let's say May 29, EFF is in a coalition with other parties, and then you get EFF members in cabinet positions or as MECs. Do you think that this now EFF in power within the state will perhaps change the nature of contestation with the EFF, which has perhaps been run smoothly since 2014, because EFF members now know that, okay, if I get a position with the party, then there's likelihood that I'll be a minister or an MEC. Thank you.
Morning, Jamie Mighty from the Africa Research Desk. My question is around debates. Are you open to debating Mr. Ramaphosa? Do you see value in that? And do you think that the media should do more to cultivate an atmosphere where the political leaders can debate before the election? Thank you.
President.
Thank you very much for those questions. The resignation by President Ramaphosa is there. The president resigned when the panel released the results. When it said there are serious issues that President Ramaphosa must answer on Phala Phala. And when those panel outcomes came, the president resigned out of his own conscience, only to be persuaded by a political cabal that he must stay because his leaving means he's going, they are going. So where there was central, Praveen was central, and then don't worry, we'll squash this thing. Then the first thing they did was to use their majority in parliament to squash the truth under Nosfio Mapisa Ngakul. From that high chair of a speaker into the dock. Very interesting. Defender of Phala Phala. Had she held that guy accountable, maybe we'll be sympathetic. We have no little sympathy with a person who protected corruption of Ramaphosa in parliament. Not only that, the day I once asked Floyd, I said, I think we must resign from this thing and just go and build an organization. That's the day they rejected an investigation on ESCOM corruption. No one said there is corruption. We said, but there are serious allegations, worse from the former CEO and all of that. Let's go and check what's happening. You check what? This anti-corruption government of Ramaphosa defending not anything outside what is being done. An ad hoc committee that looks into the corruption of ESCOM, which is what members of parliament do from time to time. Said no. So what is going to rescue, I was listening to the recording of the NEC meeting of the ANC. What is going to rescue Ramaphosa is if he maintains the percentage or he goes up. Anything less than that is going to be asked by his own faction, or we need to try someone else because it's not working. The ANC strategy was outlined in that recording. I don't know why you don't have it. I must give you. No, I will only give you. They must get it from you. The ANC strategy is we have to get the same number or increase. And for us to get the same number, we need 11 million votes. If at a 70% turnout, 11 million vote will put us at 57%. But anything above that, at least there will be an increase. If you get less than 11 million votes, that's a problem. Why is it a problem? They know. It then starts internal debate on, is this guy really being helpful or not? It's the same as the EFF, by the way. If EFF declines its support now, my name is going to be on the table, or no matter, maybe let's try someone, man, because we tried many times and it's not working. It works like that in political organizations. Once you decline support, then the discussion starts around your head. That's why you see me working like a headless chicken, because I don't want to be part of any topic. Everybody must just say, when you say Julius, what are you saying? Well, we deliberately are not putting percentages or amounts on wealth tax and corporate tax and dividend tax, because it's a serious debate that we need to introduce, and the laws that we must look into if we are not going to have other sources of revenue. Because the way the corporate tax is being paid now. I mean, the amount of money we get just from mining alone can run the education of KwaZulu-Natal. Corporate tax of mining sector alone can't pay for the education of the children of KwaZulu-Natal. But we are one of the richest countries when it comes to minerals. But those minerals don't benefit us with anything. I was saying the other day that, I don't know what these guys took from Oppenheimer. Maybe Budali one day will tell us because he was there. Where they allow DBS to go and share 50% with the Botswana government. And just across the board, they can't do it. And then when we say do that, they respond the way you were saying, my sister, of a business day. We will leave to other countries because these laws are dangerous for our business. We're not asking for anything they have not done. They are doing it in Botswana. Give us 50%, hold the 50%. You know what is the difference between what we are demanding and what is in Botswana? We're demanding ownership and control. So Botswana only owns, doesn't control. So they get told how many currents came out of your mines this year. They don't know. So we want to know ourselves directly by being hands-on so that we share a reality and not some speculation or what the bosses decide needs to be the way forward. The EFF is in power in Ekurhuleni. The EFF is in power in Joburg. The EFF is in power in Mogale City, in Nelson Mandela Bay. We used to be in power in KwaZulu-Natal, in eThekwini. Actually, we are even in a more powerful position in Nongoma as deputy mayor. I've not seen anything like that. Of people saying we are now, Dunga has got blue lights. I don't have blue lights. No one has got blue lights. The whole provincial chairperson comes to a meeting with blue lights and bodyguards. So what? Nothing. The only thing we love is the EFF. That's why in Parliament you can join today. Muzwane Lemanyi, we take you to Parliament. All we want is the organization. Once we safeguard the organization, its independence without any possible infiltration and diversion from its strategic objective, we're done. You can take anyone to Parliament. If they do what is not EFF, we recall them tomorrow. But here in the EFF, there is no one who can join today and lead in December. For a branch is how many years? It's in the constitution. It's a year, 6 months. The region, 2 years. Province, region. Yeah. So you don't join the EFF and ask the following day, where are the pastors sitting? No. Yeah. Why do you do that? We must safeguard the organization. If there is an organization, there will always be state power. In the absence of the organization, there will never be a state power. It's a waste of time. So, can a person go to Parliament today? Yes. You can join at 8 o'clock, by 4 o'clock you're in Parliament. There's no problem. Why do you take them to Parliament? Why do you send Mukwebane to Parliament so quickly and money and it's because these are experienced administrators. The EFF has reached a point where it must not just only attract the activists. It has to get professionals who are now going to make sure that the EFF's input is a well thought of input, it's implementable, and this is how we go about it. So, we cannot recruit an advocate, recruit a former GCIS spokesperson, and then recruit Eugene, who's got this influence in the art sector, and say, no, go and spend time in the branch. In the branch was sorted. We don't want anyone to spend time there. We're fine. We now go and help us to make well-informed input when it comes to art in Parliament. The organization is well-guarded. It's safeguarded. We don't worry about it. We worry about government. I just said to you now, we can propose now Lady Pando to be a minister of international relations because she's got qualities. She doesn't have to be a member. So, for 30 years, we suffered from illiteracy and incapacitated leadership, which blackmailed us with struggle credentials. We've honored them. It's done now. We've given them the honor and all of that. They can't take you beyond anywhere. If you want to know that these people are stuck, go and ask Lindiwe Zulu. Why are you not paying social grants on time? We liberated you. We went to the camps and we fought for this country. We're talking about grants. But Fanon speaks about those people. That these guys, when they get power over a period of time, they can't explain their purpose except to plug you and permanently hold you in the struggle credentials. They don't know anything now. So you ask anyone, even Ramaphosa, you guys, at least that one you made noise about it. He was talking about struggle, this struggle, that. The liberation movement after 30 years in power self-destruct. And it doesn't matter whether the EFF is there or not. It will self-destruct. And therefore it requires, by the time it self-destruct, there should be a formidable alternative for the rejected masses of our people. So that's what we're trying to do with the safeguarding of the EFF. So I'm available to be president of the EFF in December. I'm not, the reason why I'm not saying is because I'm not asked. I will answer it. If they come to me, I'm going to say, hey, I've been waiting for that question. I will answer it with branches, then I will answer it there. Our conference is in December, by the way. It's not going to change that. No matter the outcome of the elections, we must stick to the constitutional requirements of the EFF. By the way, we are the only organization that got formed after 1994 which does this thing. Your favorite Action SA 405, Mashaba. Because 405, even when Mashaba brushes the teeth, they are calling him. Stop what you are doing. I saw a debate, I don't know which channel was that, of 3 leaders, ANC, DA, EFF, Action SA, and this the other one. I'm like, what measures are you guys using to decide to exclude the IFP and the Freedom Front? Because Mututle mobare, mampela rampela, hey, hodio. She got 4 seats, no 2. It was her and Towama. Towama dismissed Mampela Rampe. But let's go and check the amount of coverage you gave on Mampela Rampe. What measures does the 405 use and the Mail and Guardian use to exclude parties with evidence that they've got support? Why? If you want a debate of new parties, do it. They must debate amongst themselves. I told Musima man on Twitter, The last time Musi Maimane trended and appeared in front of a newspaper, it's when he tried to do that thing of tour with me on Twitter. And I said to him, I will talk to you after the elections because we are not equal. I'll talk to him after the elections. You want a debate of those people, call them alone. What criteria are you using? And I don't understand. Why is the IFP keeping quiet? Why is the Freedom Front keeping quiet? Why is everybody with evidence of electoral support keeping quiet? I have no problem with you debating the new political parties that are not represented in parliament. You can have them. But do not call political parties that are in parliament with people who are not sure are going to be in parliament. Comrades, that thing is very difficult. That thing of the votes. You go into a ward, call gogos into a tent, give them 100 blankets, 100 food parcels, food, everything, dance, nice. They go home. Tomorrow is by-election. Not after 2 weeks. Tomorrow, you get 30 votes. Mario, you had 100 registered gogos in a tent. Hey. Hey, I always look at you, say, hey, Zuma this, hey, Zuma that. I'm like, hey, this thing. If I'm asked to do it again, I will not do it. It's not easy. Someone was saying ACE did not register, he missed the deadline of list ACE and who. I sent it to you, but there are two. And Matunjwa. Matunjwa, powerful man in the mines. A powerful union, what, we are going to form a political party. It came the time now to form a political party. If you don't know it, you must ask Ivan Jim. With so many buggies and posters everywhere, and 400,000 registered members, only 18,000, not more than 20,000, mainly in PE. The whole revolutionary. More. As a man paper more. It's very difficult, this thing. So, we're not going to be now be called to come and debate with people who are not going to get anything. Let there be a debate of new parties. Let there be a debate of independent candidates. Let there be a debate of parties represented in parliament. I'm not saying don't cover them, but don't put them like they're our equal. We work very hard. So, I have no problem debating anyone. I was a debater, by the way, at school and won my school 10,000. And then I went to tell my mother, she's like, where's the money? The money is for the school that are useless. So I love debate. I love debate and I promote debate. It's not in the culture of South African political parties to debate, but if it gets introduced, we don't have a problem. We debate in parliament, by the way. So we really don't have a problem. I can debate President Ramaphosa. If I debate President Ramaphosa, I can tell you now, we are not going to be far apart from each other. He can't say from his mouth, he doesn't want the return of the land into the hands of the people. He'll never say that. He'll never say he doesn't want the state bank. By the way, we passed that bill. He'll never say he doesn't want the nationalization of Reserve Bank. So, why would you be scared to debate someone that you are most likely to agree with? And then I must now be scared to debate Steinhazen. I mean, there is no person there. We can mop the floor with him. The only thing that gives me a privilege, it's a white privilege, but the DA established infrastructure. There's already an infrastructure. That's why this matriculous can behave like he thinks he's bigger. He found it. If you put Steinhazen outside that establishment of the DA, you won't even be a councillor. You won't qualify. So, There's nothing to fear from a debate. It's all in your hands, guys. We are here. You say to us, Mail and Guardian had one in Forte. The deputy president of the EFF went, and the deputy president of the ANC ran away after confirming. We never ran away. We sent our deputy president. So there was another debate now, SABC. We sent Mzwane Lemanyi, and ANC sent Mtswaledi. And the only party that sent the president was PA, because the leadership of the PA is the membership of the PA. So they can't send any other one. So you can't say, no, take this member and send them. No. You must write that, you must have it in your mind. The leadership of PA is the membership of PA. So if they call a rally and erect a stage, they are all going to sit on the stage and there won't be anyone. And it was proven in Orlando Stadium. The leadership is the membership. So, and in the debate, as a debater, when people debate, you always have that thing. The PA president says, now the Nigerians have taken over the business of drugs in this country. And he said, prostitution. They've taken, how can that be a complaint that people have taken over the business of drugs and prostitution? From who? They took it from you. He's fighting for the business of drugs and prostitution. He said that. And if he was debating me, I was going to stop there. Are you fighting to prostitute people and sell drugs? Why do you say they've taken over? The takeover is not a problem. The problem is getting rid of drugs and arrest the criminals irrespective of their nationality. When I speak about South Africans getting jobs, getting land, getting houses, Naledi Pando being must have a South African ID, has got South African political credentials. Those are the priorities. But in saying so, I must not speak bad about my African brothers and sisters. I always say, which you deliberately don't cover and distort, the jobs in South Africa are going to be given to South Africans. The only requirement is a South African ID and qualifications. I don't have to take a platform and say, no Zimbabwean will work here. No. But you hear what I'm saying. And of course, the Zimbabweans will work here. If there is a skill that we think they are bringing into our country, we'll definitely employ them, especially if that skill is not available. That's how the world economy is built, by the way. That's what makes America a superpower. The American military, we are told, is the one that discovered internet. But in reality, you might find that there was some young man who was so clever, and it came to their attention that, hey, there's this guy with this kind of different mind and brain. They come fetch you and say, show us here. And then from there, they finance that idea. From there, it becomes an American idea. Anyone with a skill all over the world, if Americans identify it, they don't wait for you. They come and say, we'll give you a green book. Come to America. So here, we hate people, even those that have skills that we don't have. We've got skills deficits. We've got, and we must admit. And one of the trainers of artisans, one of the best trainers of artisans was Eskom, which is now paralyzed, which means there's going to be a shortage now of artisans, unless we revive Eskom and put it where it was. We in South Africa are still piloted, when you fly, by white Afrikaner males. If we want well-trained females with hours, necessary hours to be pilots who can fly commercial flights, they may be found in the continent. We may not have them here, But when you go and fetch them in the continent and bring them here to dilute that whiteness of pilot space, no, you're giving jobs to Zimbabweans because you are comfortable with giving jobs to white Afrikaner males. You don't have a problem with that. Why are we still having sectors dominated by white Afrikaner males in the areas where we don't have skills, and we don't go and borrow African skills to come here to dilute the whiteness of those sectors? That is a debate which must not be had, because people can't vote for you. If you say that, you must know votes are going. You can call us flip-floppers for what you want. Since 2013, the formation of the EFF, and 2014 manifesto of the EFF, we have never shifted, both on our economic policy and our international policy, our foreign policy. We have never shifted. And you can't come here and say, no, you are wishy-washers. We are not wishy-washers. You go and read our founding manifesto and what we are articulating now, you will realize that you are overusing the word flip-floppers, because we have never. Even when we're told that this thing of foreigners and being protective of foreigners and outsiders is going to cost you votes, we said, let it be so. I'm waiting today for anyone, and Mzwanele should have asked that question in that debate. I want someone who's going to tell me this country is a successful country economically in the world because of the fence. They put a border. After putting a border, they were very successful. You talk about borders as if border is a prerequisite for development and successful economy. What is that? What is that? We have never preached for undocumented people, because we would have said South Africans must not get IDs if we are promoting undocumented people. How do we say South Africans must have IDs, have an ID campaign during elections, and the rest of others must not have papers? There's no such a thing. Everybody must be documented. But where you stay is immaterial. I was brought up by Peter Mokaba. Peter was close to Castle Matal. Peter, by all this time, thought Castle Matal was Tsonga, because he came from Zanin. He realizes later that, no man, when are you baby? Says yes, says, all along I'm concluding that you are Tsonga. Why? It has never been any issue. Just, he's from Zanin, okay, yeah. So, it's like someone who comes and say, I'm Matala from Eastern Cape. I want to hear Matala. I'm going to hear Eastern Cape, and that's it, done. But only to realize this guy is Pedi in Eastern Cape. Because there are people who were forcefully removed in Matala and put in Eastern Cape. And today all of them speak closer. But it's irrelevant that. I don't care about that. What is relevant is, can this comrade perform a task? I don't care about their nationality, their regionalism, tribalism, and all of that. The reason why I don't like these xenophobic things is because when they degenerate, they go to tribalism. What happens after we're done with Zimbabweans? Is vendors. What happens after we're done with the Swatis? So today, because of tribalism, parties are now flourishing in some in KZN who are saying we need a Zulu state, we need KZN state, and because we need a Xhosa state. Then the racists come on the other side and say we want independence of the Western Cape, because they've realized you tolerate nonsense. If they know that you reject this kind of divisions, starting from the continent and all over the world, none of those people will speak that language amongst yourself. Because that language must never be appealing to any of us. Anyone who speaks division We must say to them, no, you don't belong here. So that's all I can say. You're agitated now. No, I'm not. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Malema, I hear what you're saying, particularly on this issue of tribalism and all of that. But what happens if a guy that's named Van Rensburg comes and then he says, listen, I am here. I want to build. I want South Africa. I want to work. I want to for us to work together. Because for me, there's a little bit of a distortion because just of what you had said earlier about the Afrikaner community, right? So now it's like, okay, so when you're saying that political affiliation is irrelevant, for instance, in an EFF government, does skin color matter, or is that a barrier that you're not prepared to cross?
The skin color matters because our problem was started by skin color. We must not shy away from that. And we never termed ourselves black, and we never said they are white. They are the ones who said we are black to distinguish themselves from us. So the South African problem is deep because it's racially based. So before it goes to gender, before it goes to everything, it first looks at the race. Then it can go into the other areas. I will not stop Van Tonder to come and invest in South Africa. But I will not have a sector in South Africa dominated by Van Tonder's relatives. This is exclusively theirs. When you talk agriculture today, the first thing that comes into your mind is an Afrikaner. Why are the blacks not there? They don't have the land. We're not going to say Van Tonder must go. Van Tonder, you have been having 30 hectares of land. From 1985 till to date, you only use 10 hectares. What happens to 20? What are the future plans? He's got no plans. Here is Mr. Tambo with plans. He has got no land. Use these 20 hectares of land or lose it. So we need to work together with white people. And I said in one event, when we take over some of these power stations that these people can't manage, we're going to invite these Van Tonders that were fired there to come openly. You are going to be paid on deliverables because you ought to mentor this guy. You are too old, we accept, but we can't deny the fact that we've got a skill. And we need this skill. But let it be transferred to a black person. Afrikaners, I love them the most because they've got only one passport, majority of them. Unlike these other ones, we don't know where they stand. They've got one leg this side, one leg this side. So Afrikaners are here with us. We are battling it against each other, but we are in one space. And one day, we are going to find each other. We are not fighting because we don't want each other or wish each other away. We are saying to them, let the land and the wealth of the country be shared. That's all. And that to them means, hey, you don't want to, Afrikaners, you don't want to, because they don't want to share. And most of them, by the way, don't even have title deeds for those pieces of land. If we're to conduct land audit and ask them to produce title deeds, they don't have. They gave each other land before the negotiations because they said to these guys, this thing is inevitable, you ought to be sorted out now. So, there is a comrade of the EFF in Midval. When we're doing land occupation, when people were doing those occupations for residential, he went to occupy a farm. And there was a farmer there who said, I'm going to shoot you. This is my land. He said, you will never do that. We're neighbors. I'm taking from here this way. You take there, go that way. It will never happen. The guy went to buy a fence and fence that place. Today he's farming pigs in that farm. They are neighbors. Even that white man advises. So I asked him, how did you succeed in taking that portion of land? He says, the community complained that that guy doesn't have a title deed. So when he saw the seriousness of that fighter, he realized this thing is going to put me into trouble if I overreact. Because now I'll have to produce papers. So let me be accommodative so that there is no noise around me. So there are many like that. From Rustenburg to Mafikeng, Thandi Modise was telling us when we were still in the ANC, they were building a road from Rustenburg to Mafikeng. And then they had to go through the farms. The South African law says if you expropriate, you must compensate. Then they went to the farmers, come, bring your title deeds. We want to compensate you. But that's our contribution. Don't worry, it's a national road. They realized later they don't have title deeds. They're sitting on the land. And remember that thing of the land is very easy. We took the land in my ward, in Ward 18, there is an area there called Juju Valley, which now accommodates 3,000 families. I just said to the fighters, go and put a fence and keep quiet a little bit. Let's see what happens. We put a fence, no one says anything. So now put shacks, allocate stands now. Then we put stands, allocate stands. No one says anything. Now we realize, okay, but we cut a small portion. So we keep on extending. So the information reaches these guys or no man. By the time you go there, that place will be finished. Then they make a contact. They say, hey man, want to talk. Okay, I'm listening. No, that land, hey, what are you doing on that? They are no longer here. That was their father's land. They left it. We used to be very scared of their father, who was called Magdub, who used to monitor his fence with a pike. We're scared of their father. The next thing, this farm that we're scared of as we grow up, the fence gets stolen. There are no cattle grazing there. So I realized, man, this is available. Let's go there. We take that land. The children call when we are now extending. We say, no, come down. They come down, we speak. I say to them, no, I hear you. From today, you can't say this is your land. This one going this way with the sheikhs belongs to these people. Where now you own this one going that way. Otherwise, if we don't agree, we're proceeding this side. We can leave you with something. No problem. Just stop here. This one you can take. Then the municipality of the ANC took us to court to remove us on a private land. We arrived at court and said to the court, this one has got no standing in this court because this is a private land unless he produces a title deed. Then the court said, where's the title deed? Municipality 2. Go away. We have settled there now. These guys say they are going to do middle income housing. I said to them, that's very good. But you must put water. When you put water there, you put also in the Juju Valley. When you put electricity there, you put as a social contribution. So that we can protect this land, we know we are benefiting from it. So Afrikaners have got no problem to share. They want a decisive leadership that is going to say, we're moving this direction. I did that already. And I'm not telling you a theory, it's a public thing. You can go and check it out. In Ward 18 in Masakane is there. They will tell you. Now put boreholes, there is a soup kitchen for those poor people there and all of that. We are now fighting in the municipality to formalize it. And the owners are ready to subdivide it and hand over the title deed to the municipality. But these crooks of the ANC wants the men to give them the price when the man has already given us the land. They say, no, you can't give it for free. You must give us the price. We pay you, then we come from the other side to take the money. We are on the land without paying a cent. The government is prepared to pay a cent. Those guys have never asked for cent. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Colleagues, now I see there's a lot of hands. Okay. I'm gonna start with Dr. Ste. I'm gonna note Dr. Ste. Oh, and then I'll go to Hanju from Geknat. I'm gonna go to Diane from German TV. I will go to Ste from Bloomberg. But okay, and then Mutibe. I'll take 5.
Take
All of them. Okay. Yes, there is. There is. Okay. Okay, so it's Dr. Ste, it's Hanchu, it's Diane. Yeah, it's Hanchu Keknet. And then, okay, I'll go to Mawanda. And then Liz. And it's both male and guardian, isn't it? Okay, cool. Okay, fine. You will talk to both of you, and then Natasha. Is that all? All the hands, and then we close it. Oh, and then Sam. Put Nzwa. Yeah, it's Natasha. It's Natasha. Okay. Follow up. Okay. Let's take those hands then. Let's take those hands, guys. That's the last round, and then the president will respond.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Malema. Thanks so much for this press conference. I've got 2 questions. The first one is, Gauteng is likely to be a coalition, is likely to be a hung legislature. The ANC only got 50.19% in 2019. So and what we've seen in the metro since 2021 is that we're likely to have a coalition government in Gauteng. Wanted to know, have you had any engagement with any of the other parties on possible coalitions for Gauteng? What are your non-negotiables? What are the lessons that you've learned from the metropolitan municipalities that you would want to take into the legislature and into a possible coalition to avoid the kind of chaos that we've seen in Tshwane, in Ekurhuleni, and in the city of Johannesburg? Then my second question is not sure if it's weeks or months now, there was some controversy around the attendance record of EFF MPs to parliamentary committee meetings where so much of the work of parliament happens. I'd just like to know your response to that and how you would like to approach things in this coming parliament. Thanks.
Hankulo from CakeNet. Thank you, Mr. Malema. Just 2 quick questions. Do you view the MK Party and Mr. Zuma as particular allies going into the election and after the elections? So do you think that they would be able to assist you in your particular goals over and above some of the other political parties, opposition parties that you have referred to in your speech? And then I just want to jump back to some of the comments you made regarding the DA specifically. Steenhuisen has been quite vocal in referring to yourselves and your coalition partners, especially in some of the metros, as a doomsday coalition. I just want to get your take on that. You know, what do you make of that statement, and how do you think you could, bring the evidence that you were so vocal about to work against that narrative that they are pushing quite hard at the moment? Thank you, Mr. Malema.
Thank you. Diane Hawker, just to clarify, I'm from Deutsche Welle, which is a German TV station, but the name is Deutsche Welle. All right. Mr. Malema, thank you for the opportunity. My question is, 2 questions. We've had 24 days now without load shedding, which seems like a bit of a Christmas miracle in the middle of the year. Maybe your assessment on what's really going on behind the scenes. Is it an election ploy, or is this really change that we're seeing in the state of our electricity supply? And then in terms of the coalition politics, just an add-on to Dr. Mbete's question, she mentioned Gauteng and what the non-negotiables are. My question is about, at a national level, what are the non-negotiables when you're thinking about coalitions?
Sanibona Mushabi, it's Tembile Cele from Bloomberg News. Just on your strategy to break new ground with the town halls on the minority groups, what are they asking of the EFF apart from the usual deliverables that they would want from government? Do they have any concerns about your policies, or which ones in particular, and how you're responding to that? Then just on Diane's question as well around ESCOM, the claims by some in the ANC that there's sabotage that is at play, is it a preemptive strike in case they don't do well in elections, or should there be a genuine concern around that? And if so, are you worried about, the integrity of the elections being compromised because of, let's say, a blackout the day before or in the days? Last one, sorry, your internal polls, what are they telling us about where the EFF will land? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mawande. I work for the Sunday World. Mr. Malema, you say you are open to a coalition with anyone. Does that include the DA, which has made it clear that they are not open to working with the EFF? Perhaps as a rider to that and the historical context, you worked with the DA, especially after the 2016 local government elections. What changed? When was the breaking point, and exactly what happened between the relationship, the coalition relationship of the EFF and the DA? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's Mudibe here from the Inside Factor. Two questions. The court ruled that the intelligence report, which the state security did not want it published, granted permission that it must be published, which include names of ANC comrades who spy on each other. But also in that report, it also includes how the CIA is trying to infiltrate opposition parties like the EFF and how they've put surveillance. Are you scared of any foreign intelligence surveilling you and certain leaders in your party? And my second question is, I recently had an interview where you said that before the MK was formed, two days before you went to meet the old man, you said no man endorsed the party. And then I think a couple of months ago when I was speaking to Ace, he said, Mchana, that man wanted me to join the party and go to parliament. Do you think that there is this form of ageism that certain ANC comrades have, or former ANC comrades have, that they do not want to be led by a young boy who they've groomed or something? Because I've also heard you talk about this generational war, that you think that your biggest problem might be that there's generational jealousy that might face you and potentially your party. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Lizega Tandwa from the Mailing. Good afternoon from the Mailing Guardian. Mr. Malema, firstly, can I just get your reaction to the tensions which are escalating in the Middle East, Iran and Israel? Last week, there was a lot of reports around Josi leaving the EFF and moving back to the ANC. Are there any concerns? Because I think we reported that there were concerns in the EFF nationally about this move, and also about 1,000 of your members defecting to the ANC. Are there any concerns from your end in terms of how this might impact your voter share in these elections? And what exactly has there been a strategy and how to mitigate against this? You've spoken about your transparency, and I'm going to try my luck and ask whether the EFF can reveal, given that you've talked about direct contact with your voters, and you've talked about your nerve center, if you can reveal how much has this how much has this election cost you?
Tobela Mushabi. My name is Lung. I'm also from the Mail and Guardian. Look, Mushabi, look, the first one would be, the IEC now with the new parties, they've basically said that they don't necessarily have a database to show that those signatures that these new parties were putting there are actually those of the people whose IDs belong to. And they've left it to Parliament. They're saying that these parties, when they go to Parliament, you guys in Parliament will deal with that. What do you think Parliament should do if one finds that those signatures were forged? Should those maybe parties be removed? What is going to be action? And don't you think that the IEC is opening itself up for litigation? That's the first one. And then also the IFP, considering that they're in the MPC, they've said that, look, they are open to working with you if they don't get a 50+1. Would the IFP be an ideal candidate to work with? And also with MK, I mean, MK already, you are saying that you can work with them, but I just want to know on what basis, because, I mean, they've not released a manifesto. So what is it that you say you find yourself having some similarities with MK? And also the issue of the deputy president. I mean, I saw also on the debate that you as the EFF wanted to give him the Ministry of Finance because Trolip was accusing that you want him to steal there. What do you say about those remarks? Thank you so much.
Natasha.
Thank you so much, and thanks for fighting for me, Bramzai. It's Natasha Fury here from SABC News. Just as a follow-up to Lizega's question about Limpopo, Mr. Malema, this is your home province, but yet it's a stronghold of the ANC. Surely this is something that's very worrying to you. I mean, Josi Butani had said he wants to hit the EFF where it hurts. So perhaps your plans around winning back, not winning back, but winning Limpopo over, seeing that the ANC is about at 75%, the EFF is around at 14%. And then you were at El Dorado Park on Tuesday. You told the community there that the EFF is for everyone. What are your plans to diversify the party and attract more people, like colored people? I know you've got your Nazir Paulsons, your Carl Niehaus, but just to attract and diversify the party. Thank you.
Is that all, colleagues? Over to you. Tando, sorry, it was... There's a mic.
In the first round, you didn't answer the question, CAC, on whether there are concerns if the ANC might do a U-turn on agreements that you've made in a coalition phase. Yeah.
Over to you, President.
Sorry, Bishop, before just that, just one that I wanted to add. Do you feel that an ANC that doesn't have a majority will be an easy ANC to work with if they don't have their majority?
Thank you very much. I've been asked to deal with this issue of coalitions as the first one. We don't have a problem with a coalition government. We think is the most workable solution to political arrogancy and sins of the incumbents. Because when you are in a coalition, you know you don't have absolute majority because absolute majority corrupt absolutely. So it's important that you always try to make sure that you stay within the agreements that are reached within a coalition. And it doesn't matter what's going to happen on the 29th of May. There's no way the ANC is going to get the majority in Gauteng. And we are prepared to talk to them, talk to the IFP, talk to everyone, and then including the DA. We want to prioritize the citizens more than our ideological differences. But also, we know an inclusion of the EFF in a coalition comes with a huge opportune moment for us to gain some experiences, but in a practical way also display to the people of South Africa what we are capable of doing. So I think that this below 50% and without any outright winner, EFF stands a good chance to participate in decision making. And I was making some silly example that if you were to make me deputy president or minister of sports, arts and culture, in the group of all those ANC people, there's no one who can outshine me. As a minister of sports, arts and culture, I can be looked at as a president. People can be looking for water and say, bring Malema here, and I'm a minister of sports, arts and culture. Because we'll perform in such a way that our people will long for our immediate takeover of the state. We have never worked with the DA, so this is how we brought down the ANC. We firstly had to remove them from power because they were using the state resources to cling to power. So we shifted the pace in 2016 and did not work with the DA. We said, well, we don't want, as long as the ANC has got no control and access to the pace, that is the only strength they have, because they no longer have a message, they no longer have a face. So we did that, and it paid in 2019, where we dropped them to 57% and dropped the Gauteng province to 49.9%. So they are leading with one member. They are not leading because percentage-wise they've got a majority. Before that, to show that these things have got thuggery in them, Paul Mashatile came to meet us in one of the hotels here in Johannesburg, asked to see us, we had to come down, meet, and said, guys, we've lost Gauteng as the ANC, we're prepared to work with you. What are the conditions? As we're engaging, telephone call came, and then he went outside, and then he came back and said, no, we're fine, we no longer need you. They say we've won. But if you guys want to sleep here, you can sleep here, order anything you want to order. And then left us there. So, and then it went 49.9, and that's why we knew this is rigging. Because riggings happen like that. Why did Paul say he lost? They had ANC internal results, because the good thing with the ANC is that there's got party agents everywhere. So the results came internally before they were announced by IEC that they've lost. So they were now preparing for the IEC announcement. Hence the emphasis now on party agents. Because we need to guard every vote, including a vote that is not EFF, as long as it's anti-ANC. Because ANC wins with stealing small here. And then they give it to themselves, and that's how they get 49.9. Who wins with 49.9? Rigging happens like that. So we never had a relationship like that with the DA. So we gave it to them. And then we if you remember, we said we don't want Mashaba as a way of trying to push back the DA because it needed us desperately. They pushed back. When they pushed back, we said, we're about to lose this strategy. Let's concede Mashaba. They put Mashaba in. And then when they put Mashaba in, we became the good government ourselves of Johannesburg without being inside. Mashaba takes a platform here, like I'm doing now, says, I have insourced the security guards in Johannesburg. No one asked Mashaba using which policy, because when you were a mayor, you were a DA mayor, and the DA never had that policy of insourcing security guards. Which security? He insourced security guards in exchange of the EFF passing the budget. Those were the conditions. We said we won't pass this budget unless we insource the workers. He agreed to insource the workers, and that's how the budget was passed. If this is Mashaba's policy, ask him in 2016 when he was implementing it, in which page are we finding this part of the policy of the DA that speaks about insourcing? So a person lies to you, not so intellectually gifted individual, the lowest in thinking amongst politicians, even Gayton is better. Because 26 or 28, the lowest in political thinking, right? Lies to you. You don't ask him a simple thing. Where do we find that in the DA policy? Because you are lying. And that condition was made public, Budali, that we will not pass this budget. And if we don't pass this budget, this municipality is going to collapse. The ANC is going to take it over through administration unless you insource the workers. He insourced the workers. What happened? Everywhere else where we had influence, we're telling them what to do. Boom! 2019 comes. They don't perform well. Helen Zille says, no, man. The problem is Musi, who allowed this EFF to work with us. Now we have declined support because the white racists are not happy with this relationship. That's why the white racists shifted to vote for Freedom Front. Huh? It's a recent history. You see, it's getting distorted now when we're still alive. Imagine what's going to happen. So, that's what happened, and that's what led to this kind of animosity we have. Because the DA says, whatever happens, don't go close to the EFF, because the EFF is going to make you lose support from our white racists. And we didn't mind that, because we always knew what we were doing, and we achieved it. If we had not put the DA in 2016, and the ANC comes with Cyril Ramaphosa, who was loved by you, and the ANC has access to resources, Cyril will have gotten 2/3 majority. What killed the ANC is that it lost the pairs of the metros. Remember, in 2016, just before the elections, there were billboards of the ANC in the whole of Johannesburg. When we went to investigate, Johannesburg municipality issued a tender to advertise its 5 years achievements. Then bought 100 billboards, only used 20 for that purpose, and then 80 for the ANC. But on paper, it's billboard adverts for the municipality. That we took away. So that then helped us to upset the situation in 2019 and subsequently 2021. And the good thing with the ANC is that when it loses, it never recovers. Now, in 2016, they lose Johannesburg, they lose Tshwane, they maintain Ekurhuleni. In 2021, just to demonstrate to you that the ANC, where it loses, it doesn't recover. In 2021, it loses even Ekurhuleni, which was their base. So, that's what happens. And I can tell you now, the ANC will never recover. It's got no such history. Take Western Cape as an example if you don't want to take Ekurhuleni and Gauteng as an example. They ruled Western Cape, they declined. They ruled KZN now. There is no chance of coming back. IFP, we can work with them. My problem is that the ANC in Gauteng, if it gets 47% and the IFP gets 3% or 4%, and the EFF gets a 12%, 15%, they are going to prefer the IFP more than the EFF. So we need a situation where the ANC, we need Ekurhuleni situation, where the ANC and the EFF combined, they can form a government without a small party. That the ANC, for it to form a government with the small parties, it will still need the EFF. Then there's going to be nice discussions. Because the ANC without power is not an arrogant ANC. Look at how, so now we're done with the DA. Then we go to Ekurhuleni to deal with the ANC. We say, look guys, this gives us an opportunity. We may not agree on conditions and all of that, but we can have an opportunity to participate in government. Speed up service delivery, but also demonstrate to South Africans what we can do. We go into Ekurhuleni under those conditions. We perform so well. So much that the ANC branches then go to the ANC leadership and say, no, if you keep these people in power, it's the end of the ANC. We didn't do anything. We just worked hard. You report about a blocked sewer, we say to you, give us 24 hours, it will be resolved. You tell us this, give us 24 hours, it will be resolved. The EFF was hard at work. No one has ever asked the ANC, why did you remove the mayor of the small parties and then the EFF and all of that? Because they can't give you an answer. Like the DA, they were saying, these people are outshining us. That's why I tell you, make me Minister of Sports and see what's going to happen. Make me Minister of Sports. If I'm a problem, make me Minister of Sports, see what's going to happen. That's how we work in the EFF. That's how we build this party from nothing, from zero budget to where it is now. Because all we do is to work hard. And I've made that personal commitment with myself that I need to work hard as an individual. And nothing must come to me for free. I grew up in other people's houses. We didn't have food at home. But I never ate food of that home for free. After we were given food, I was the one who was working hard to demonstrate my appreciation of what I was given. I never asked for free things anyway. So, and that's a culture we are inculcating in the EFF. That people must work hard. Must not be a home of lazy people who are obsessed with positions. After we give them positions, they have no idea what they are talking about except to celebrate blue lights. So the ANC can make U-turn if it wants. It's their own thing. We are not going to sign any paper with any coalitions. We are not in a relationship of signing papers. We are in a relationship of improving the lives of our people. So the doomsayers coalition, you must tell them that the doomsayers coalition is the one that went to remove rubbish bins in Tembisa after collapsing the government of DA in Igurule. The people of Tembisa started seeing those trucks of removing rubbish bins. First time after the EFF went in. And I'm answering these two questions at the same time. When you say to me, what is this coalition going to do? Go to Igurule. 2, why do you want to make Floyd finance minister because you want to steal? I'm a finance minister in Igurule. What did I steal? It's more than a year now. What did I steal? Even in the removal of the EFF in that government, no one could accuse EFF of laziness and corruption. No one, not a single one. So the only accusation we got was that we lost 2-point-something billion in revenue. And that was necessitated by the fact that there was a meter system that was supposed to be installed, and there were civic organizations that had problems, and there was 2 from court. But when we went back now into the Ministry of Finance, MMC of Finance, we agreed we need to recover that money, because the good thing with electricity is that you can go back, we can go as far as 5 years ago. So that money is still recoverable, and we told the MMC of Finance, whatever you do, you must recover that money. But we still got a good audit. Then our audit was subjected to all types. What's the name of the audit? Unqualified. People who didn't know what is unqualified audit, they just had unqualified, but it didn't pass. That's when the DA's domcopism came in. It didn't pass. Unqualified. Then we went through to educate patiently. Or this is what it means. There was no disclaimer against the EFF. Nothing. We've done it in Ikuruleni, in the finance. We can do it in South Africa. We've never stolen any cent anywhere, including in the VBS. I said when I did an interview with JJ that who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just some guy from Sishiu, a child of a domestic worker with no power, nothing. If I'd stolen, why are these people that I'm troubling so much not arresting me? I don't give them sleep. Come. Why are you not arresting this guy? Batoi took a Pala case from a prosecutor. Took it away. Till today, they don't know where the docket is. And then Batoi says to them, charge Malema with that issue of Limpopo of On Point. I'm like, you can do it. I must be charged with something they allege I've done. So many years back, there was a decision by the NPA, by the way. Matter was struck off the roll. Then the decision was taken to charge again. When they announced the charging, they said, Malema is not part of the people that were charging. We'll see when the case goes on. It was not my decision. The mistake they did, they included a deceased person as one of the people who must be charged. That's a state that is not organized. They didn't know that they issued a death certificate for that guy. Still proceeded to charge him in the grave. Then they were left with the egg on their face, embarrassed. They retreated from that case. Now Batoi says, go in. They're like, but with what? There is a big internal battle of charging Malema. Because they say, for what? How do we explain the earlier decision where we said we are not charging him? What new has emerged? But Ramaphosa, with the docket that was raised in an open meeting where the Financial Intelligence Center was presenting to NPA, the prosecutor who was prosecuting Ramaphosa's case stood up and said, I've got this Pala case. How can you help me as Financial Intelligence Center? He didn't finish the sentence, but he stood up and said, no, can't talk about that here. Bring those things here. No, not here. Till today. So, they can't say to us, Floyd can be a minister of finance when the current minister of finance was accused of stealing workers' money. The current one. And Ogari apologized also. He got removed from a position because of that accusation. A lesser position because he was accused of stealing money from the workers. He got removed and then he came back top position without any clarity, having accepted that he stole that money. So Floyd has not stolen any money. Only illiterates can reject the young intelligentsia. The man is gifted. He knows these things. By his head, he can tell you every little cent, where it is being spent by who, where, how. He leaves those things. He tells you about every single South African company, who's the CEO, how much does it make, how much money does it pay for taxes, without reading anything. You've got a man who understands the economy of South Africa and the continent and the world at large. A well-grounded Marxist-Leninist, highly qualified, is now going for his third master's. Next week he's going to collect his third master's in London. Not in some TVET college there in Sishiu, in London. Then he must be compared with Athol Trollip, whose only charm to the people is not ideas, is speaking Xhosa. That's why he was not saying anything in that debate. He just Xhosa and then says a lot of hot air and then Xhosa. Since when should people be elected on the basis of language? If black people must vote for a person because he's speaking Xhosa, Whites must vote for us because we're speaking English. We must exchange the votes then. So I think I've dealt with that. Load shedding still exists. That's why they say to you, I don't know why you're celebrating 24 day. Load shedding exists. They say to you, load shedding remains suspended. They don't say we are done with load shedding. Load shedding remains suspended. They never said to you there is no load shedding. It's there. They are doing what they were doing during the Rugby World Cup. They are holding it there. And to the detriment of the grid. I can tell you 29 May, we're going, after voting, when the things close, we're going to stage 6. They did that to us. With the World Cup, Rugby World Cup, they keep the lights on because they are using the remaining reserves. When we came back from that, they said stage 6 so that they can recover what they've been using just to keep the lights on for the World Cup. They are doing the same now. So there is nothing, there's no sabotage, they don't know what they're doing. They just don't know what they are doing. Sputla, they are busy over nothing. MK party, look, President Zuma says we must take the land. You heard that. Said we must take the land. Once a person speaks like that, that person comes closer to us. Azapo says, let's take the land. PAC says, let's take the land. ATM says, let's take the land. How the MK party internally formulate policy and operate is not my problem. I'm judging from what I'm hearing. And I agree. I had a meeting with President Zuma before the 16th of December, where he was telling me about his plans of the party and all of that. I asked him, I said, old man, tell us what you want us to do. We'll do it. Because we still have the energy, we're there. I don't think it's the right thing to open a political party. Tell us, then endorse the EFF. That thing that is saying about MK, that I remain a member of the ANC, but I will campaign and vote for MK. Where he says I will campaign and vote for MK was supposed to be I will campaign and vote for EFF. That was the request already. This is how you structure it. Why? Where did I learn that? I learned that from President Mugabe. When he announced his endorsement for Chamisa, he said, I can't vote for people who have been tormenting me and my family. I'll vote for the young men. And the only young man there was Chamisa. So, it was done before. President Mbeki did it. He didn't do it the way Zuma is doing it. You all know that. He did that with COPE. He did that with COPE. In the Youth League with Mbali and them, we used to call him a COPE Dalai Lama. And then now he wants to come and play some high moral ground that, you can't say you are a member and campaign for another party. But you did it. Yes, JJ knows better. Well, town halls, meetings, campaigns, is to go and say to those people, the EFF's message ought to be communicated to them directly because it gets distorted on the way. So we have to communicate with minorities directly who are busy organizing a meeting with Afrikaner farmers. And the language I spoke here won't change when we meet Afrikaner farmers. Going to tell them, you are part of us, you are here. But let's share. Let's share the wealth and the land of this country. And I must say it in such a way that they themselves are able to ask questions. And by the time we leave that meeting, it will all be making sense. There used to be a rich guy called Jimmy in Polokwane who used to have a lot of buildings. And this, remember, we advocated in the Youth League. He used to say to me, hey, my guy, I'm prepared to surrender whatever amount of buildings you want us to surrender to the state. But I'm not the only girl in town. Not going to be the only one who donates buildings and people are left there. I can even say in public that I'm ready to give government back so many buildings. But let everybody come and make a commitment. Why? Because he knew that it is not sustainable what we are doing. That we own the whole town. Just the two of us, me and Molman. It's not sustainable. So we have to release some of these properties into the hands of the people and everybody benefits from it. Well, CIA in America is doing what is expected from them. They must do their work. State Security South Africa must do its work. South African embassies must do their work. The problem is the EFF, if it has got no internal system to detect CIA agents, which we don't have, by the way. Even that report tells you that no, the only party where we have agents is the ANC, maybe with the DA, I don't know. But the EFF, they say, no, we try to find from this and that. There's no report that says CIA has got people inside the EFF. There's no such a thing. So, as a commander, you have to have the ways of operation. You tell one person, that person alone, information. And then you say, I'm going to tell Dali and others, there's no problem. And you don't do it. When that information leaks, you know it's this one. Because I only told you must learn to tell information to one person and then see what's going to happen. Once it gets out, you know, we're leaking here. Even you, as journalists, you know how difficult it is to have sources in the EFF. List EFF. You tried finding it everywhere, you couldn't find it. As an example, list, you couldn't get it anyway. You are all like, when is this list coming out? Hey, what? In the EFF, even, I want to call her by name, from Melon Guardian, Lizega, keeps on pretending like she's got some information in the EFF that heads are going to roll in KZN, people are not happy with Mabida. Nothing like that. Now she makes a big issue. She says 1,000 people left the EFF in Limpopo, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you know, Lizeka has got all the time. You know, when I say journalist, you are not rushed by anything unless it's a trending big story, deadline. But if we want to work on that line, why can't she go and verify the membership of those people? Those 1,000 people. And say, yeah, I've got this, I've got this, I've got... The people in the picture with Josie Bhutan is those councillors we expelled for buses. At the wall, you see at the wall where they were seated. They say EFF members are leaving the EFF. Those guys were expelled from the EFF. Go and look at that picture and then come and sit with me and ask me one by one. I'll tell you, this is so and so. Here's the letter of expulsion and the date. This is so and so. Here's the letter of... They are not our members. They have not been our members. And really, I can't be asked about Limpopo. I don't care about Limpopo. I don't care about Gauteng. I care about South Africa and the continent. Whether EFF is voted for in Limpopo, so what? What must I do? What does that have to do with me? I'm not a regional leader. I'm international. I can walk into any country. You'll think Michael Jackson, the showstopper, has arrived. In the whole continent. So you're telling me about Limpopo, what? What's that? You want to reduce me into Ramudige? Ramudige, Mpepu, Ntangwis. I was born in Limpopo. I'm not a Limpopo citizen, I'm a South African citizen. My interests are in this country. I led this country when I was 17 years old. as a president of COSAS, why would you still see me as a person who comes from Limpopo if you are not seeing me through the eyes of tribalism? And that makes you a tribalist yourself, a regionalist, not me. I don't see I go anywhere in South Africa and feel comfortable. And there is nowhere in South Africa where I don't know a person personally. There's a day I woke up one day and I cried a lot during COVID. Because they told me of 10 people who had died that day from all over South Africa. They didn't know. This one tells me about this one. But I knew these people so closely. The whole of South Africa. So much that some of them I buried their parents. Some of them I was there during the baptism of their children. That's how much I know these people. I grew up with them as a child. I grew up in this country, leading it nationally. So I know the ecosystem of this country, who does what, where, and how, including those who sell drugs. When I take over, I know which area to go. I will never sell soldiers to Western Cape to go and fetch drugs. There is no single factory in Western Cape that manufactures drugs. Those are the consumers. All drugs are being produced in Gauteng and get distributed outside. That's why you send the soldiers with so much money to go and stop drugs in Western Cape. Till today, they never gave you any drug bust that is big for 2 million rands. Nothing. What happened? When you send the soldiers to Western Cape, the supplier stopped supplying. That's why those Western Cape people started smoking the dangerous drugs, the most useless things, because there was no supply. None of those soldiers found a factory in the Western Cape. You live where drugs are. You go and look for them somewhere. What's that? So, even these people who steal the money of government, I know some of them, and I know how they work. That thing of SIU, that you over-celebrate, when the man makes a determination that SIU must go and investigate Dalimpofu, and Dalimpofu is his man, he says the mandate of Dalimpofu, of SIU on Dalimpofu, starts from 2019 coming this way. But the crime we are complaining about was committed in 2018. He pretends to be doing something. So, I know the operations of South Africa, and I only know South Africa, and Limpopo is part of it. Every strategy we apply in every province, including Western Cape, where we are weak, is the same. Whatever we do in Limpopo, we do in Western Cape, we do in Northwest, we do in KZN. There's nothing that happened in Limpopo now which is special. I was never made by boys. I made them. I made them. So there's no boy who can destroy me. I made them. Their mothers are living in proper houses today because of me. I made them. Why would you think you can outshine the master? Never. No boys can deal with me. Both in the ANC, in the Youth League, in the state. I defeated them when I was a child. I'm too old now, 43, with 3 kids and a wife. I defeated them when I was a child. They tried me. Everything. I've got an experience of a 63-year-old at 43. There's nothing that shocks me. Nothing. When a person is going to sell out and leave the EFF, I see them coming. I even prepare the leadership. Here, we're about to experience something. Why would you think the ANC will not try to destroy me now? When they tried it when I was with them. So, nothing is shocking in Limpopo. Nothing demands any other different kind of strategy. And if you are to be honest, I was deployed in Limpopo even before this development. Remember, officials are given provinces. I've got 3 provinces, Limpopo, Gauteng, Free State. I'm in Limpopo Tuesday. I'm in Free State, Gauteng Wednesday, Free State Thursday. I'm from Free State yesterday, and I've been to Limpopo. The names you are talking about have never arisen in Limpopo's discussion and the strategy to implement going forward into 29 May. Godrich Gadi was deployed in Limpopo before this. So there's no any other new development that requires us to do anything. I raised the issue of the signatures. I raised the issue of the signatures with the CEO when they were registering those people. Musimaiman said he got how many signatures? Some 140. I'm like, okay, how do you confirm if these are real signatures? He said, we don't have systems. We're just going to check if these people are registered voters, because that's easy to do, the name, ID number. But I can register the same people, just take them from the voters roll, register them to be supporting me, and then get different kind of people to do signatures. He says, no, the period of objections is coming. You guys, if there is a name you know that doesn't support that party and is there, you can object. I'm like, how are we going to know? Because those names of signatures are not going to be published. So how would I know this is a fake signature? What if my grandmother is demon? We'll never know those things. So that concern has been raised with the IC, and I can guarantee you we're going to follow it up. We can't leave it. There has to be systems in place to verify the authenticity of the signatures. Which one? Oh, no. That we saw it coming. There is no way that Israel can continue with what it's doing without provoking other countries in the Middle East. What we have always emphasized is that we need ceasefire and we need a permanent solution to the Middle East crisis, because if we allow this to go on now, there is a serious threat of the World War III now. So we shouldn't allow a situation where violence and war are supported for wrong reasons. The Palestinians have got all the right to fight for their self-determination without any threat of being wiped off the earth by anyone. So we call for peace, we call for ceasefire, and we call for decisive intervention by United Nations Security Council, which when we take over government, we are going to suggest strongly that it ought to be structured and its decisions must be on the principle of majority rule. This thing of vetoing is not helpful, where the majority takes a decision and one state just comes to veto that decision. So really, we are worried about that, and we've been paying a closer attention to that situation. MK party, I spoke about it. Yeah. Is there anything I didn't answer? Oh, Zaka. Internal, yo. Zaka. Let me tell you. So, and I explained this. I don't know, TG was going to remind me. When we went to EFF 10th anniversary, we were trying to patch here and there, take this one, put that. The ANC IEC gave us, how much? I said it publicly. 37 million as our allocation. That we never looked for. It was not coming, it was not part of any money expected from the IEC. They gave us 37 million. And I knew that if they give us 37 million, the ANC went to make a demand that we have a problem. So do the party allocations. 37 million is what ran that FNB. Then we went to Mabhida. When we went to Mabhida, we went to Standard Bank and asked for a loan of 100 million. We were given 60 million. We took 40 million of the 60 million, went to pay our service provider who gave us a credit in 2021 and was servicing it quarterly as we get money from IEC, Parliament, blah, blah, blah. 40 million, we're owing him 40 million. Boom, take. After he took 40 million, we looked at him and said, can't you give us a credit of 60 million? He gave us a credit of 60 million, these things that you see here. So we must pay him and we must still pay the bank. Our arrangement with the bank is that once the IEC money gets into the bank takes their portion. They don't even talk to us. Then we get money from Parliament for political thing and for constituents. Then we get money from Gauteng. Gauteng is the one that gives us a lot of money. I think last year they gave us almost 20 million or something. And then all provinces give us money because we are represented in all the provinces. That money is not controlled by provinces. It's controlled by the central organization called the Treasurer General. So we are succeeding in doing these things because we've got a good skill of cash flow management. Take this one, remove here, take here, put there. Now that we get 60 million, then we took 20 million. 40 to that guy, 20 million to Moses Mabhida. That's how we made it. I'm giving you at a high level. In December, the Treasurer General will present the details. Now, we're going to 25 May. The companies of South Africa, including, what is Motsepe's company? Rainbow, those things, have been donating now for multi-party purposes. So, there's monies that come from companies that will be declared with the IEC. And it will be premature to ask me what is an election cost. We're still fighting. We're still putting money. So the election will be done and we'll be able to give you the rough estimates of how much was utilized. But basically what you have been seeing and what you think the EFF should be having a lot of funders is actually the money from the bank and from the state that has been sustaining the EFF. And because we don't steal it, that's why it can do these huge things that you get shocked. How does a party do the things that they're doing? We once put a stage at Orlando Stadium and Muzwandile called me, Masina, and said, yo, that should have costed you 10 million. That stage. God, no, it was 1 million. But I know why you say it costed me 10 million. Because when they give you a quote of 1 million, you guys go and say to these guys, quote 10, I'll come and fetch 9. Yes, so we don't do that. We tell you we've got 1 million. We want a beautiful stage, make a presentation based on our budget. We know our coffers, we know what we can afford. And we use that money, the smallest cent, for the development of this organization. Internal polls, we don't do internal polls. We wait for Ipsos. So once Ipsos is released, and we don't have anything to do with Ipsos, once it is released, then we write them a letter to come and make that presentation to the EFF. So we are waiting in a very keen way for this one. But Ipsos, before Zuma came in to disrupt the whole setup, because, hey, Zuma came with another arrangement. Ipsos, no, it doesn't worry me. Yeah. I just came, disrupted everything. So, Ipsos had said the EFF stands at 16% lower turnout, 18%, 70% above. And then, even with 16, we are with the lower turnout, we are neck to neck with DA. With the high turnout, we are overtaking the DA. And then they left us with one message. They said, we don't know what you are doing. Whatever you are doing, keep on doing it. So all we ask from Ipsos is, where is the stronghold of the EFF? Where are we weak? And so that we channel the resources according to the strength. Strength does not mean you must not take risk of breaking new grounds. Even when Ipsos says, don't go there, we hear you, but we still go. And we consolidate the base and break the new ground. That is with regard to internal polls. So? Our plan to diversify racism is exactly what we're doing. Because we realize that we're being projected as a racist organization, which hate even colors. How do we hate colors? Our own. Because colored means you are oppressed. Indian means you are oppressed. African means oppressed. So we are the oppressed nation. How can we hate on oppressed nations? And that's why I say to you, the best thing, let's go there. So that no one distort us. And no one says, no, Malema stands for this and that. They, the minorities themselves, must be able to say, but we had an interaction with this guy. And we've heard what he stands for, and that's what we will support or not support. So, for the first time, we're going to have a white man representing the EFF in Parliament, Carl Niehaus. But colors we've always had. Indians we've always had. I don't know if Godrich Gad is Indian or what, but there are things like things like that. So we even had an old man Indian from Dr. Vauda, from Nelspruit, Mbombela. So that's how much we've always been open. Nazir have been there. There is that other lady. Harike is there. Letitia is there. There's another one from Bloemfontein. Paul Nita is there. And then Maggie Munsami is the founding treasurer of the EFF. And that founding treasurer, Indian of the EFF, led to that guy in KZN to leave us, Buteles or something, who was a former coordinator of KZN, said, I can't be led by Indians. And we said, okay, you can go. Yeah, Indians are going to lead us. So that's the ANC took them until, I can tell you, since 1912. No, Cabo included who? Who? No, I'm saying the top 6. No, the ANC never included anyone, minority. I think Jesse Duarte was the first one, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Yo, Cheryl, yeah. And who? Kada was what? But after so many years, we started it now. The first founding conference of the EFF elected an Indian as a treasurer. That's how much diverse we have been from birth. So to be asked, how are you going to attract minorities? We have attracted them before. Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'm done. Oh, okay. Attendance? No, not me. Why do you say your attendance? You mean me or EFF? Oh, EFF. What is the percentage of my participation? I've not followed those things because no, it can't be 6%. So I'm not a member of committees. I'm only a member of one committee called Ethics Committee, which sits once in a while. I was a member of Minerals Committee and Justice Committee, and the EFF released me as a party leader that beyond parliament, there are party issues that you have to look after. That's why I do not sit in many of these committees. But parliament I attend, the battles I lead from the front, you know, you look at all those gogos of the ANC who attend parliament, and you measure their input with this man who doesn't attend parliament. When I attended that day, it's like I've been there. I solve everything. Make very important inputs that they just go there, attend committees and eat food and go home. They've got no value and quality inputs that they are making there. But otherwise, generally, the EFF's participation in parliament is very good. Yes? EFF. Yeah, I accepted. What am I saying? I'm saying EFF's participation in parliament is satisfactory. There is no committee. Go there and ask. There's no committee without EFF's participation and quality input into that committee. Yes. Okay. No, leave that example. Even with what you are saying, the Gogos are members of parliament who are members of parliament, who must be judged on the bar of members of parliament. Don't be an ageist. I'm saying to you, no, it can. No, the bar, no, it's a measure. The measure is members of parliament from the ANC make no valuable quality input. And partly because majority of them are an old age home. We don't have that problem. And we make quality input. The same thing of ageism. That's what Ace Makashule suffered from. And many others. Some tribalism, who said who can't join this party that is led by a spady person, who can't join this party but it's led by a young boy. It's their own laws. Ace Makashule, if Zuma doesn't do him a favor, he's going to watch parliament on TV because of ageism. Yeah, he could have been part of the EFF who could have built a strong, powerful alternative EFF in Free State. The one I've never approached and I don't even have an appetite for is Claudi. I think. The bar there is very low. You see, we can't go there. No. We're not going there. But I can guarantee you the EFF's participation and quality inputs, including bills that we propose in parliament, are not just artificial bills. They are attempting to make a shift in the status quo of South Africa and change the patterns of property ownership in our country. So I can't claim that I'm a full-time participant there. No. I'm a party leader who was released from those things. And majority of my work is to concentrate together with the SG. By the way, SG is also a member of parliament. If you were to check his percentage, for sure I'm better than him. Because we are there by name, but we assist with the responsibility of building the party. But our members and the organization is fully there. And it's the only organization that was ever suspended in parliament. It's the only organization that has ever been taken to the disciplinary committees, only organization that has taken president to court, taken parliament to court, because we're the most effective, efficient organization which doesn't pretend to be engaged in some artificial politics. We mean serious politics. Pala is in court now as we speak because of the EFF. Yes, sir. You must know it's not me who's keeping you here. It's you.
Look, Moshab, you are saying that, like, now that I'm thinking about it, we are speaking about Pala, and we are saying that Mashaba will not make any significance because of small parties. But if you're talking about Pala, I mean, Vuyo Zungula, they are a small party, but they make significant points with the Pala thing, and they are the ones who are part of making this thing blow up. So don't you think these minorities, parties, and what do you call it, independent candidates can actually have influence in parliament if they are serious?
No, I've never said small parties. I said Mashaba. Mashaba is not a small party. Mashaba as an individual is not a thinker. You can't think and speak at the same time. And at times there, you are required to think on your feet. So that's the word out. Small parties, I kept on saying ATM, PAC. What? In terms of small parties in parliament, PAC, ATM, they're small. I kept on referring to them, that these are the parties we're going to be working with because we're not far apart. And if that is a big issue that small parties are about, we give it to them. But we were not of the issue. So we were on the Pala issue ourselves. And then ATM was very fortunate to write a letter to Parliament before us. So we are not in competition. They are raising the same issue we are raising. But ATM alone can't have the capacity to carry that issue. We carried it on our shoulders, ourselves as the EFF. That's why we are in court now. I just, and was suspended for that. I just signed papers even now, what do you call it, the affidavit of responding to them. We did the first affidavit, they responded, I signed another one now, responding to their response. So that's the role we're playing of being robust and making Parliament to be fashionable. Thank you very much. I think I've answered everything, and thank you everyone for coming. Thank you. Minister of Justice.
Wait, colleagues. Thank you very much, President. Okay, thank you very much, colleagues, for taking time to engaging with our president today. We've got lunch ready for you at the restaurant on the left side. It would be irresponsible of me to not ask the colleagues that on the 29th of May, please vote for the EFF.
Well, these are the people who deal.
Well, we're in Soweto. The message is simple. We're calling on all young.
The EFF would not reach this milestone.
We